Hello and welcome to the Whirly Bloke channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Vortex 250 Pro almost ready to fly race quad from ImmersionRC. Now I've already got one of these awesome pieces of kit and I absolutely love it. It's fun, it's fast, it's incredibly strong, and one of the interesting things in the manual, under the warning section, it talks about not flying it in the wet, not flying it in the snow, but also watch out for jealous friends. It's exactly what happened to me. I was out flying one day, a friend came out to see what was going on, absolutely loved it. I let him have a quick go, so he's been out and bought himself one. When he looked at the instruction manual, he decided it was actually a little bit complicated. There's a few things in there he didn't understand, so he's asked me to put it together to get it in a state that he can actually fly it and go out and have some fun. So what we're going to look at is what's in the box, what's involved in actually getting it set up with an FrSky X4R-SB receiver, which is also bought. We'll be using the obligatory Taranis radio and setting it up with some FatShark Dominator V3s. So let's get on and see what's in the box. It's a very impressive piece of packaging, 732-bit ARM processors, I know. So let's have a quick look. I'll take this sleeve off, don't need that. And it comes in a very good quality zip case. This is excellent. I didn't have a case with mine. So let's see what's inside. Immersion have done a great job with this packaging, I have to say. So, what have we got? A few support cards, quite good. And this is the beast. The first thing that you notice as soon as you pick one of these up is the build quality is superb, and it's incredibly strong. It's unbelievable. For the money, this is very, very good. And I immediately noticed a couple of differences between this newer one and the one I bought late last year. There's a cover on the lights at the back here, which obviously gives a better viewing angle for the LEDs, which is quite good. The thing that they've done that's really impressive is they've actually added these lightweight plastic parts. These are the bits that you can buy the pimp kits for, so you can put different colours on here. But they do a great job at protecting the vulnerable parts. The bits on the side here stop things getting in the side, branches, any stones and all that sort of thing. There's some covers here to cover the wires going out to the motors, and the bottoms of the motors have actually got covers on as well. And these are pretty lightweight, so I don't, they won't make any difference to the real performance of this. And yeah, it's quite interesting, the differences. So this comes with a 700 line FatShark camera. Mine, I think, is only 600. It'll be interesting to see how that performs and what sort of latency there is for the increased resolution. It's always a bit of a trade-off. You don't want any latency in your video, in your goggles, but you want the best quality. That's a slight angle. So what else we got in here? There's a few stickers. Let's have a look. Under here, that's a zipper compartment. I guess you could use this for your for transporting around. In the back here we've got some packing material in there. What else have we got? Let's get this out. Some spare props. Put that to one side. Let's have a look. So We've got a set of spare props. You'll need more than that, they'll get broken very quickly. A FatShark circularly polarised antenna, which just screws in here. What else we got? That's yes, these are the parts to build up the additional GoPro mount. So that fits on the front here. As you can see, they've cleverly made this the FPV camera so you can tilt it without any tools. I mean, that can get knocked. I've found on mine that if you hit something hard, it'll move, obviously, but you can just push it back into place. I've also found on mine that you could fly this without a GoPro, but it's a little bit difficult to balance this way. With the battery on the back and the receiver on the back, you need a bit of extra weight on the front. And I haven't actually done a test to see what the difference in flight times is with or without a GoPro, but I always fly one with GoPro because it's you always want to show people what you've been doing. Again, all the parts very impressive. These nice red anodized dome cap nut bolts and nuts, and the retainers to hold these together. This basically clips on here, and I'll show you how to do that. A strap to hold the GoPro on. We've also got some additional leads here for the connecting the different receiver protocols. We're going to be using SBUS, so I will need this one, I think. So it involves taking off these sides, taking off this lead, and getting a receiver fitted. Now on mine I've got a nice 3D printed holder for the receiver. So this is the X4R-SB, probably one of the most common receivers, which will fit there, and I've got a nice 3D printed holder on here, and the aerials stick up like this. We haven't got one of those in this case. I may just fix that to there with some servo tape and some cable ties, or there is actually room inside to fix this. So I think the first thing we're going to do is get this GoPro mount built up. So let's see how we do that. Move this to our side. So this is all pretty straightforward. There's some foam on here. Which way round does this go? Yes, it goes like that. So we've got these plastic captive nuts. Which fit in very nicely into there. This is pretty straightforward to put together. This is the only building that you actually need to do. Let's have a look. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Mounting this, well, the camera is mounted on a suspended plate with these rubber suspension mounts, which is great because it means the FPV camera itself is not going to suffer any, well, not too much vibration, and the GoPro sits on top like that. To get this on, you need to take this plate off. There's some clips on the bottom of these retaining pins here. Front ones you can get off, the back ones are hidden under here. So the easiest way to do this is just to remove these side plates, and we're going to need to take those off anyway to get the SBUS cable in. So these goes in there for now. So it's just 4 cap screws on each side. Okay, so this, you can just coax these off here. Be careful, don't pull it too hard because the camera's connected underneath. Pull it straight up, don't try and go forward because there's not enough play in the camera cable, and just pull off the connector gently. There we go. So that just mounts on there like that. Put the strap on now because it's probably not to be the front. So go down that way. And we need a couple more of these plastic captive . There we go. Bring that round there for now. Take that away. I think I'll put this back on now. And we'll leave these sides off because we need to connect the SBUS cable for the XDR. So reconnect cable. Just a bit fiddle. It's really fiddly. mounts back in. Check they're all seated. That looks good. And we can put these back in now. Just put the plastic circlets back on. There we go. Okay, that's done. We'll leave these sides off because as I say I've got to try them out whether I'm going to put receiver inside here or on the back. I think I'm going to put it on the back. But we need to change this cable. So whilst we're here, just check the GoPro fits on that. Okay, that all looks good. Yeah, we still get to the switches. It's a bit of an extreme angle for if you're a beginner. You're probably going to be flying at that sort of angle, so you can always put some packing behind here. On my other one, I've actually laser cut a different mount for this. And the other good thing on here is that you can power the GoPro off the flight battery. Although some GoPros don't like to power up unless they've got one of the internal batteries as well, but it's entirely up to you. I mean, it might save a bit of weight, but I think for most of us that's neither here nor there. Okay, so I think before I start on anything else I'm going to get these props off. Always remember, as everybody says, whilst you're doing any setup on the bench, before you connect any power, take the props off. You can do yourself a lot of damage. When the Vortex ships, it comes as standard with a CPPM cable connected in here, and we're going to be using the FrSky X4R-SB and we just need to get this plugged in, which is a little bit fiddly, but it's not too bad. So first things first, we need to get rid of the CPPM connector here. We don't need this any longer. Actually, the easiest way to get to this, I don't think, I might be able to get that in. I think that should pull straight through. I think I can manage to get to this without actually having to it's just pulled straight out. So just give that a little tug and it pops it out. There we go. Simple. Okay. We'll use this again in a minute, so we don't need that one. So this is the SBUS connector that we're going to be using. We need to get that connected onto that connector here. So if you're looking at it, well, this is the front, it's on the right hand side. On the top board here that plug needs to go in there, into there, which is a little bit fiddly. So I think, which way round does it go? The pins are on this side, so it needs to go in that way, and I may just be able to feed that through there. So look. Pair of tweezers. Oh, there we go. Now I'm hoping I'll get this in without having to undo any of these bolts. It's not actually particularly tricky, but I think it's a bit of a squeeze. I think I'm just going to remove these 3 bolts here so I can just lift the board up a little bit. I think I'm going to do the other side as well. Ah, that looks good. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so just taking those 6 top bolts out, and that just gives just enough room to get the to make sure we get that back in place afterwards. So let's feed that back up through there. Pins are on this side. Pop that in. Another roll around, yes. There we go. It's interesting to see how this is different from... I know you can... This is an upgradable component, so you can actually buy this newer LED panel and it will just slot into the previous versions of the 250. Apparently. Let's slot it back in place. Get these back in. It's the FrSky X4R, which we're going to be using, and we're, as I said before, we're doing this as an SBUS, the SBUS protocol. Connecting this up, basically you've got 2 rows of pins here, if you're holding it that way around. This connector needs to go on the bottom row of pins, on the bottom 3 pins, and if you look at this, you've got the fail-safe button, and you've got the LED, and you've got this connector. So it needs to go on those bottom 3 pins there. The white connector needs to be on the same side as the fail-safe button. That's the correct way around. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is, for now, I've put a bit of servo tape on there and a cable tie, I think. easiest way. There we go. Okay, try and keep this level with that edge so that if you do land this way it doesn't actually break anything. Put a cable tie there in a minute. Great, so I think we're almost ready to get some power connected up and check that everything works. So, always remember, before you connect the power on any of your video transmitter, connect your aerial. The output driver on that on the video transmitter can blow up, or it just gets incredibly hot and just burns out. Where those pliers, I'll use these. Let's give this a gentle tweak. There we go. So, I think we're almost ready to go. Let's get a battery from let's see what sort of charge we've got on here. 12.5, yeah, about 4.2 volts each. This is just a I haven't tried this brand of battery before. But it's the ones that were ordered with the Vortex. 1.5 amp hour 3S 65C. Don't think they're particularly expensive, but we'll see how that goes. We'll tidy up the aerials a bit later. But we just want to get this connected and set up. Remember, props off. Otherwise you'll be in hospital with stitches. These sticky pads that ImmersionRC supply are actually pretty good, I have to say. Okay, let's get that on there. And it's over here for now. That's good. Yeah, you see that it needs the GoPro on there because otherwise it's down this way. Anyway, let me get the radio sorted out and we will set up a new model and get this bound. We've now got the transmitter mounted, connected to the flight controller board. This is, I'm just going to fix this on with a tie wrap, cable tie. Doesn't need to be too tight, just to hold it in place. Okay, that's good. And we'll tuck these down here. I think at some later stage we'll fit one of those 3D printed antenna and receiver holders. Let's get that in there temporary for now. Right, so we need to get our transmitter bound. Okay, so we turn the transmitter on.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Hit the menu. We've only got one model in here at the moment. Hit minus to go to a new empty model, and press and hold enter and select create model. It's prompting us for the type. We're going to pick quadcopter here. Press enter. Now I fly mode 2, and the way this Taranis has been set up, it automatically defaults to the correct channel for mode 2. So we're on throttle, assigned to channel 3, which is this one. So we just hit, it's already selected, so we hit page, that takes us to channel 1, which is prompting for roll, which is channel 1, which is this one, left and right. Press page, it's prompting for pitch, which is channel 2, this guy here. Hit page again, and it's prompting for yaw, which is on the left stick, left to right. Hit page again, and it's prompting us just to confirm what we've entered. Press and hold enter. We've now got our model entered. I think what I'll quickly do is just change the name of this model. To do that, you hit page, we're on page 2, select model name, hit enter, and we need, we'll call it Vortex. To go uppercase, when you've got it selected, just press and hold enter, makes it uppercase and moves it on to the next one. So okay, so that's done. Exit out of that and go from this point. We need to go into bind. Press the plus key to go up, and we need to select mode D16, which is already defaulted here, and we want to use channels 1 to 16, so it defaults to 1 to 8, so we just press minus to highlight 8, press enter, and then just take that up to 16. We're not going to use all 16 channels. Press enter, press minus, minus until bind is selected. When bind is selected, you press enter, and the transmitter will go into bind mode, as you can hear. So let's put this one aside for 1 minute. So what we need to do is to bind the receiver. On the X4R, you've got the failsafe switch here, which also acts as the bind switch. Basically, you need to press that switch whilst you power on. So, we'll do something non-metallic. Okay, so it's can be a bit fiddly, but I'll just do this like this. So I'm pressing and holding failsafe switch, and that's now bound. We've got flashing red light, solid green light. Ignore this down here. So I can now hit enter back on my Taranis, and that's done. Very straightforward. The next step, after binding the receiver to the transmitter, is to run the wizard, which is part of the flight controller, in the Vortex. First thing we need to do is turn the transmitter on.
Welcome to OpenTX.
we can plug the battery in. We've got the props off. This is all looking good. The wizard has detected the receiver. It knows we're using SBUS, and it's prompting us to center all the controls. Looks good. Next prompt is to move the roll control left and hold. Excellent. Then we need to move the yaw left and hold. And then move the throttle to its minimum and hold. Set that back to the centre. Then we need to move the pitch stick back and hold. Good. And finally move the left stick back and to the left. Next we need to make sure the quad is level, which it is, and move the right stick back and hold. All done. So we've run the setup wizard. Vortex runs through its victory march. Excellent. So we can now activate the menu by pulling the left stick to the left, all the way to the left and back, and this brings up the menu which allows us to change things like the on-screen display, which you control with the right stick, moving up and down to go back this way. You can change the LED at the back to be different patterns. We can change the frequency on the VTX, also the power. The power is quite clever in that when it doesn't need full power, it's only down at 25 milliwatts. Game setup, pro tuning, you can load some preloaded PID tunings that come out of the factory. So this is all looking good, and I think we're ready for the next step. One of the other things that we'll need to do, so we've set up 4 channels on here for throttle, yaw, pitch and roll. The other setting, there's lots of things you can do, use side switches to make these LEDs do all sorts of things. But the essential one you want is to actually have some control over the flight mode. There's 3 flight modes in Clean Flight, which is the flight controller software that's running on the Vortex. Acro, Angle and Horizon. Angle is the mode that you want to start in. It's fully stabilised. You're not going to get into trouble. It's a very easy flight mode, and it's the mode that you should really be starting in. Acro is the other end of the spectrum. There's, I think, no stabilisation, but it means that you can do all your aerobatics and flips and all the sort of like freestyling. It's quite difficult to fly in that mode. It's incredibly difficult to hover because you'll start drifting all over the place like this. It's easier to go in a straight line quite fast in acro, but when you start to move like this, it becomes very, very twitchy. You need to have got a lot of stick time to be able to control that well. That's what the pro guys use. And then we've got Horizon mode, which is sort of like a mix between the two. Basically it means that the sort of centre stick position, you've got something which is working a little bit like it does in angle mode, and then when you start to get to the end of the travel it behaves more like acro. So Horizon mode is a good sort of intermediate level. It allows you to do fairly straight and level flight, relatively easy, but you can do flips and rolls, and you can do quite a lot of freestyling in that mode. But what we want to do is set this up so that the radio can control which mode is actually selected, and you'll see that on the display on your goggles. So the way we do that, we go back to our Taranis. We've got the model selected, and let me just zoom in a little bit so you can see what's going on. Okay, so to set up a switch for the different modes, I'm going to use switch E. It's a 3-position switch for our 3 modes: horizon, angle and acro. What you need to do is, you've got your model selected, you hit page, 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 page until you get to page 5, which is mixer. You can then scroll down here to channel 5, which is the channel which is already set up in here. It knows that's going to be used for mode switching. Hit enter. Mix name, I'll enter that as mode. Press and hold, go to uppercase. Okay. Now we need to, so you press exit, down, and now we're looking at the source. The source is just saying which switch is going to control this. You don't have to fiddle with it, just flick the switch, sorry, press enter to select, and then flick the switch, and you can see it's already selected switch E for us. So we can exit out of that, that's now selected. Okay, so now I've got all the props on. Just get this battery connected. So that sits under there. Strap that through that. Good and tight. Now these aerial leads we're just going to feed through here. Just for now. Okay, so that's good. I think we can get that out in the garden for a quick test hover and check that everything looks good. Okay. Right, we're now out in the garden just to do a quick shakedown flight, just to check that everything's working as it should be. Just confirming that the controls are doing what I expect them to do. Keeping it pretty low to the ground, just in case anything goes wrong. Yeah, it's looking pretty good.
space in here, and this really does want to go. Yeah, it's a bit of a small space for doing flips. Yeah, I've just got my 30-second battery warning, so I think it's time to get this on the ground.
20 seconds.
That just about wraps things up. I hope you found that useful. I'm going to give my friend a call, let him know this is ready for collection, and we're planning on going out and doing some flying this weekend. Don't forget to like, subscribe, post a comment below, or shoot me an email. See you next time.